You probably have problems studying, right? Don't worry about that, man. They're not the right place. But they are phone. If this is the first time visiting the channel, this is Philip, and today I'll be sharing with you some tips, tricks, techniques that I used in the past that have helped me in studying, and hopefully you will be able to replicate it in your area of study. So the reason make me decide to make the video, I have friends, colleagues who are always telling me that they have problems studying and if I have any advice to give to them. I also had problems studying, so what I did is that I tried out a different variety of methods that I've heard about, that I've asked other friends about, and today I will be sharing with you the ones that I have seen that have actually worked for me. So my first tip for you guys is number one, prepare a specific space for studying. Yes, what I mean by this is that have a set table, a set space in your home that you only use when you're ready to study. So you go to that area in order to study. What I've realized that this has done for me is that it helps me to associate that area with studying. So as soon as I go to that area and I'm ready to study, my mind, my body, everything just connect and get ready to study. Also, try not to watch like movies or have dinner and so on in that area to kind of mess up the mood. Only if it's my videos, then sure, you can go ahead and watch it. Yeah, but try not to do anything in that area other than studying. I know that it may be hard depending on the kind of space that you have, but there are different ways you can work around it. Maybe if there is something, say you have books on your table or a plant or so on, while you're using it, not for studying, you will remove those items, and as soon as you're ready to study, you replace the item so it will still like be in your mind of you associating that space with studying. Yes, so set the mood. Yeah, so the next tip is to have a specific time. Yeah, me never sure if me supposed to like include it in along with the first point that I gave or make it a point to stand on its own. But having a specific time for study kind of coincide with the previous point that I made. You associate that time with studying, so it's like as soon as that time comes around, your mind, your body get into the mood of studying. And what you could do to achieve this is try to schedule around a time that you wouldn't have much doing. Like for example, currently my classes go like from 8 to 4 sometime, 12 to 2. The time varies, but I know that I wouldn't have any class like 5 to 6 or 7 to 8. I know that those times are out of it. So like I'll use a time around there when I know that despite what my schedule will be for that day, I will always have that time to study. Yes, so the next tip is get all materials that you need and all that you think that you're going to need. If a material come to your mind, say a pencil, and you think, say, oh, me not gonna need that day. Trust me, I'm gonna need it. Get it. So get all the materials that you need, because you don't want to be studying and then you remember that, oh, I need this. And then you have to break that concentration, that momentum that you had going, and then sometime to get back into that momentum, you might never reach it that night or that day. Yes, so get all you needed materials. Get it! Because even with me personally, if I'm studying and I realize that I forget something, I not stop studying for that. It have to go wait. So whenever I get a break, I'd go and get it and then to use it. I always like make a little note, say, okay, I need this, and then I continue because I don't want to break that concentration. Another thing you might want to do is like organize your schedule or your time around the subjects and prioritize different subjects based on like credits, the ones you're strong in, the ones you're weak in. Prioritize the subjects around those. So what this does is that you'll set down adequate time to study each subject, and then none will get left behind. Cause for example, if you're struggling in maths, you don't want to spend the whole time studying maths, or spend the whole time studying anatomy, and then the rest of subjects that you have get left out: biochem, physiology, English. Yeah, you don't want that. So you set up your study schedule, and like you'll give more time to that area, but do not let the other subjects feel neglected. Yeah. So if you've been taking notes, you've noticed that most of what I've been said, I've just been focusing on the actual preparation for study, because trust me, like that is the hardest part. That is the hardest part, the actually getting into studying. For me, as long as I start actually studying, like yeah, things come easy. Things come more easier for me then. But to get the starting, to like take up the book or open up my laptop and start studying, that is the process that is so hard for me to overcome. So those are some of the tips that I use to overcome them. And so now I'll be getting to the second part of the video, which is to how to study. Yes, so the number one study technique for me that I recommend to anybody at all is the Pomodoro Technique. The Pomodoro Technique. Yeah, so what this technique basically is that you have a timer, and you set the timer for a specific time, normally around 25 minutes, 45 minutes, anywhere around there, and you'll study for that time, and then you'll have like a 5-minute break, and you continue the cycle. So it's like you break up the content in blocks interval. So having the time is like it helps you to study more, like it make you actually want to study. Yeah, because you don't want to like set like a 25 minutes timer, right? And you take up your book, and the timer they are running, and then after the 25 minutes up and you look, you only read half a page. Like how that gonna make you feel, right? So having this set time help you to work and focus more, and you'll have less distractions, because you're saying that you put it in your mind, I'm studying for the 25 minutes, and then I'm going to take a 5-minute break. So whatever distraction is there that will want to hold your attention, you can just have it in your mind to get this over in 25 minutes, and then you have the break when you can go and go indulge in whatever that is. Yeah, but it's always important. Don't like take up the book and say, okay, I'm going to study for 25 minutes. Set the timer. Like when you set the timer itself, and sometimes you might check, which you're not supposed to. You see the timer running down. It push you. Trust me, man. You can try it. Yeah, so that is the Pomodoro technique. You study for 25 minutes, take a 5-minute break. Study for 25 minutes, take a 5-minute break. You probably do that for a couple hours before you take like a actual break. And during your breaks, you are normally like pace around the home, so you can like go for a walk. If you have a good view, you could go to your window, take in nature. Yeah, try not to use your phone or so on, but if you must, then you go ahead and use it during your break. Yeah, well, the next tip was actually going to be that you're supposed to take a break while studying, but I think the Pomodoro technique already covered that, so I'm gonna move on. So the next tip is start with the material that is given in class, like the core material, the course outline, the things that are given by the teacher. You start with those. So you start with those, and then you expand upon them. Like don't just go study blindly, or if you're using a textbook to study, don't just study from the textbook without any sense of direction. Go through what the teacher gives you, because normally the notes that are given in the class are like the most important stuff that they want us to know. So yes, it is good for you to read up more, but read up more along the lines of what was given. Yeah. Or what you could do if you really want to expand your knowledge, then you could start out from the core, which is what was given in class, and then you could continue expand upon it, but always start with what was given. Something I forgot to mention in planning: you want to plan not only the subject that you'll be studying, but also the topics within that subject. Yeah, so the use of YouTube to study. Yeah, there are really some helpful videos on YouTube by different content creators, which have helped me in most of the subject areas. But the thing about studying on YouTube is that you have to be very cautious. You have to be very cautious because you may be watching this video on, say, the brain, the cranial nerves. And then while watching that video, see another video pop up on this side about something more funny, you may be tempted to click off and click on it. So you have to be focused when you're using YouTube to help you to understand a specific concept. But it is good. It is good. Like if there's something that you don't quite get, you can always watch a YouTube video about it. Yeah, so the final tip that I'll be giving you, which most persons overlook, is that to work questions, work MCQs or whatever style of exam questions you'll be getting. You might see some of those same questions on the exam paper. Yeah, so if you're studying and you know the test method that your teacher will be giving you, say MCQs, after studying, you'd work some questions. If you're not able to, it will help you to know what you covered, what cemented, and what you understand. Because if you're not able to answer those questions, it simply means that you missed something in studying. So you could always go over it back, because you might get that same question in the exam, and there's nothing worse that I've experienced too than for you to be studying and you saw a question that you didn't quite get, you leave it, and then to go back and see that exam and the question paper. Oh my, I hate when that happens. So I always try to work the questions even if I don't know them. I have Google and check Google and help to find the answers. Okay, so another study tip that I like to share today: there will be days when you don't feel like studying, when I don't feel like studying. But as I mentioned before about making the subject and along with the topic that you want to study, so what you could do is that you could switch it around. If you plan to study biochemistry today and you plan to look on DNA transcription, but your mind is not really there, you could probably go and study another topic in biochemistry, or even a whole subject on its own. But always try to still study on that day. And if you really don't feel like studying, then look over a previous topic that you've done. Yeah, so those are a few of my techniques that I used to study. I hope they were helpful to you. And of all that I've said, none of it will work. Yes, none of it will work unless you actually implement it. You have to do it. Try it out. It takes time and practice to master the skill of studying. Yeah, so be patient with yourself. Yeah, so if you're studying something and you say you're not getting it, don't worry about it. Just have patience. Trust the process. If you're continually using a method now and you're seeing that you're not getting the result from it, that is the time you need to try other methods. As I said, these are the ones that work for me, and I hope that they also will work for you. So there are others out there, but I found that these ones work best for me. Yeah, so let me know if this video was helpful for you by leaving a like, or you could comment down below, and also drop down below in the comments some of your own study method that you've used that might have worked, that might not have worked. Yeah, it might help someone else. And before you go, don't forget to subscribe and to share my video with your friends, that it may also help them out. Shout out to Joshua Eastman. Yeah, he has been helping me with editing for a while now. Until next time, peace be unto you.